Everything you think you are, everything you believe to be real, is nothing but an illusion. Not in the way conspiracy theories urge you to question authority, or how skeptics tell you to doubt the narrative, but in a far deeper, more absolute way. Even your doubts are part of the illusion. From the moment you became aware, you were conditioned, given a name, an identity, a history, each one a thread woven into a tapestry of separateness. You were told you are a person, a body, something, moving through time from past to future. But what if all of that was just a story? What if the awareness reading these words right now was never truly separate from the infinite? What if you were never lost, never disconnected, only believing that you were? Enlightenment isn't something to seek. It's simply remembering what was never forgotten. But if that's true, why does life feel so fragmented? Why does the world seem so real, so divided, so tangible? To answer that, we have to go back to the moment the dream began. The first illusion you were taught was separation. That you are separate from the world, from others, from whatever you conceive as divine. You were given a name and told, "This is you." But who decided that? Before language, before thought, before anyone told you who you were, you simply existed. No labels, no borders, just presence. Over time, the illusion deepened. You were conditioned to identify with your body, your thoughts, your emotions. Every success was made personal, every failure too. And with each new layer of identity, the illusion became harder to see through. You started filtering life into categories, me and them, right and wrong, before and after. But none of it was real. It was only perception, a perception so deeply ingrained that it became the only way you knew how to see. Yet there are moments when the illusion cracks, standing in nature, feeling an inexplicable connection, losing yourself in music, looking into someone's eyes and just for a second seeing something beyond the name, beyond the story. In those moments, something within you recognizes the truth, but the mind, trained by the illusion, dismisses it. Just a feeling, just a trick of the brain. The greatest deception isn't spoken, it's assumed. The belief that you are separate is the root of suffering. Because if you believe you are incomplete, you will always seek something outside yourself to make you whole. Love, success, validation, security. But the void you're trying to fill was never real. You were never separate. You only believed you were. This illusion isn't just personal, it's systemic. A world built on separateness is a world easily controlled. People who believe they are incomplete are always searching for meaning, for purpose, for someone to lead them. But what if no one could? What if the truth was something no book, no teacher, no institution could ever give you, because it was never missing in the first place? The illusion is fragile, so why does it persist? The answer is simple: conditioning. From birth, everything reinforced the lie. But now it's time to break the spell. Because once you see the prison for what it is, you realize you were never truly inside it. The most powerful prisons aren't built of walls and chains. They're built of perception. And the most dangerous part? You don't even realize you're inside one. Since childhood, you were handed a version of reality. Not as it is, but as others have agreed to see it. You were told what things are called, what is possible, what is impossible. You were given a script before you even knew you were an actor in a play. You were taught that reality is exactly what your senses report. Solid, external, absolute. But is it? Colors? They're not real. Your brain interprets wavelengths of light and assigns them meaning. Sound? Just vibrations translated into something comprehensible. Even time, the foundation of your entire existence, is nothing more than perception. If everything you experience is simply an interpretation, then what is real? The mind is a mirror, but it doesn't reflect reality. It reflects its own conditioning. You don't see the world as it is, you see it as you are. That's why two people can witness the same event and experience it completely differently. One sees tragedy, the other sees growth. The event itself is neutral, only the mind gives it meaning. But if your mind is shaping reality and the mind itself is shaped by illusion, Then what happens when the mind begins to see beyond it? Imagine a mirror covered in dust. That dust is your conditioning, your beliefs, your fears, your identity. When you look into it, you think you're seeing yourself, but you're only seeing the dust. This is how perception traps you, by making you mistake the illusion for reality. Everything you think you are has been shaped by forces outside of you. Your language limits what you can express. Your culture dictates what is normal or strange. Your education system teaches you what to think, not how to think. But the moment you start questioning the framework itself, you become dangerous. Because someone who sees past the illusion can no longer be controlled by it. Yet the illusion resists. The moment you question it, the mind fights back. That can't be true. I know who I am. I know what's real. But do you? Every belief you hold was borrowed. Every idea of who you are was planted in you before you could decide for yourself. Who would you be if none of that had ever happened? This is why silence, stillness, and self-inquiry are at the core of spiritual traditions. They don't give you answers. They strip away the noise. Because only in that silence can the truth reveal itself. The prison was never locked. The door was never closed. You were just too distracted by illusions to see the way out. But waking up isn't easy. The illusion isn't just in your mind. It's in your body, your habits, your daily life. And even when you recognize it, something keeps pulling you back. That something is fear. The fear of losing everything you thought was real. But if none of it was real, then what is there to lose? Fear is the glue that holds the illusion together. Not physical chains, not external forces, just fear. The fear of letting go of identity. The fear of the unknown. The fear of what happens when the mind no longer has control. But what if you are not the mind? What if the thing you've been afraid of losing was never you to begin with? The mind is loud, but truth is silent. That's why you'll never find it in words, philosophies, or beliefs. Words can only point to truth. They can never be the truth itself. You have spent your life searching, trying to understand, trying to make sense of existence, but thought will never grasp something beyond thought. And yet here you are, seeking, questioning, feeling something just beneath the surface. But here's what no one tells you. You were never supposed to find the answer through thinking. Thought is the very thing keeping you trapped in the illusion. Enlightenment isn't about gaining something. It's about losing everything that was never real. What remains when everything false falls away? Awareness, silent, unmoving, infinite. The same awareness that is reading these words right now. The dreamer, not the dream. And once you see this, once you truly see it, the illusion can never hold you again. Hidden within ancient texts, symbols, and forgotten philosophies lies a truth so profound that most overlook it entirely. This truth is both a key to absolute liberation and a force feared by those who seek control. It is the secret of the will. Most people move through life without ever questioning the invisible chains that bind them. They follow rules they never agreed to, chase dreams that were never truly their own, and live by beliefs handed down without scrutiny. Society thrives on this compliance, keeping individuals locked in a system designed to suppress their true potential. But beneath the noise of expectation and illusion, something deeper calls, a knowing, a force, an unshakable drive that is always whispered from within. The ancients understood this force and called it the will. To awaken to it is to become untouchable, unstoppable. The law of Thelema states, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." At first glance, this phrase is often misunderstood. Many mistake it for indulgence, chaos, or reckless abandon. But that is exactly the misunderstanding that keeps people enslaved. The truth is far more profound and far more powerful. Will is not mere desire. It is not impulse, not ego, and not fleeting ambition. True will is alignment with the natural current of existence. It is the effortless flow of energy, the deep knowing of purpose, the unshakable certainty that arises when one moves in harmony with the universe itself. Imagine a river, flowing, unbothered, without hesitation. It does not question its path or resist its nature. That is the essence of true will. But society does not want you to recognize this truth. Instead, it replaces your will with artificial desires, status, wealth, approval. It feeds you distractions, ensuring you never pause long enough to question whether you were meant for something greater. This is why so many feel lost, chasing goals that do not fulfill them, achieving everything they were told would bring happiness, only to find themselves empty. When you reclaim your will, everything changes. Doubt fades, fear dissipates, and obstacles that once seemed immovable begin to dissolve. You no longer waste energy on pursuits that do not serve your true path. Instead, you move through life with clarity, not because you have all the answers, but because you no longer need them. You trust the current, you flow. So how does one find their true will? The answer is not in books, not in gurus, not in external validation. It is found in stripping away everything that is not you. Every inherited belief, every expectation imposed upon you, every false desire must be let go. What remains? The drive that persists despite fear, despite doubt. That is your will. Alasdair Crowley named it Thelema. But this truth existed long before him. The Taoists called it the way. Hindus called it Dharma. Buddhists called it right action. It is the same force, described in different words across time and tradition, the movement of existence expressing itself through you. And here lies the greatest fear of those in power. A person aligned with their will cannot be controlled. They do not seek permission, they do not require validation, and they do not bow to systems built on illusion. Such individuals are a threat, not because they seek destruction, but because they live in a way that makes the old structures irrelevant. But knowing this truth is not enough. Awareness is only the beginning. Once you see through the illusion, you must choose. Will you follow your will or will you turn away? Will you step into the unknown, beyond comfort, beyond safety, beyond everything that has kept you small? Most, even after glimpsing the truth, retreat into familiarity. But for those who step forward, transformation begins. This is where awakening becomes more than a fleeting realization. It becomes a way of being. Because true enlightenment is not about knowledge. It is about action. The hardest step is not in seeing the truth, but in living it every single day. The moment you awaken, the world does not change. You do. The illusions remain, the distractions persist, the expectations of society continue. But now, you see them for what they are. And the question becomes, what will you do with this knowledge? For many, awakening is a moment, not a transformation. They touch the truth, feel its weight, and then slip back into old patterns lulled by the comfort of illusion. They carry the knowledge but never embody it. This is the greatest tragedy, seeing the way out yet choosing to remain in the cage. But for those who refuse to turn back, life itself changes. Fear loses its grip. The need for external validation dissolves. The endless chase for meaning ends, not because life becomes easier, but because one finally realizes they were never lacking. To begin with, this is the greatest shift of all. Not in what you know, but in how you move. No longer reacting out of fear. No longer seeking approval. No longer bound by illusions. You move with clarity, certainty, and an effortless sense of purpose. And people will notice. Some will be drawn to it, sensing something unshakable within. Others will resist, unsettled by something they cannot name. Because when you stop playing by the rules of illusion, you disrupt the entire game. But this path comes with a challenge. Once you awaken, you cannot unsee. You will walk through a world where others remain trapped in illusions, clinging to false identities, suffering over things that are not real. And you will want to wake them up. But you cannot. Just as no one could force you to see before you were ready, you cannot force another. Awakening cannot be given. It must be realized. The greatest act of service is not preaching, not convincing, but simply being. Living the truth, embodying it fully, and allowing those who are ready to find their own way. And as you walk this path, one truth becomes undeniable. The world is not something happening to you. It is something happening through you. You are not in life. Life is in you. You are not separate from existence. You are existence itself. Most will never realize this. They will stay trapped, believing they are only a person, a name, a body moving through time. They will cling to familiarity because waking up requires the loss of everything they thought they were. But you are different. You made it here. You are listening. You are remembering. Now there is only one thing left to do. Live it.